What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, in today's video, we are going to talk about why we are all about to be broke and the end is here for Cardano, and why we're all about to lose every single dollar that we put into them. Oh my goodness. I'm obviously lying. Okay, I'm obviously joking. Let's just make that clear before I get 80,000 dislikes. Anyway, so what we're looking at right now from Cardano, of course, is that we are about to see this death cross happening. I've been seeing all the videos and the people freaking out and everyone saying on Twitter that this means it's going to 3 cents and all this good stuff. And I'm just here to provide my opinion on what all we are seeing. So of course, whenever we see something like this, we always get all the people saying that this is the end of Cardano, in which we're seeing again our 50 EMA crossing down below our 200 EMA. Now, although it's not happened just yet, it is pretty much going to happen probably within the next 2 days. And so with that, we need to talk a little bit today about what this means, why it's really not all too important in my opinion, and what I'm expecting from Cardano. Now, many of you do know that we have not really been talking about Cardano much recently on the channel. A lot of the reason of that being due to the fact that it is still within the trend line that we have been following. Of course, early in November, I told you guys I'm waiting for it to start to see it break trend and start setting some new local highs. And until it does that, there wasn't really much to talk about. I was just going to ride this thing down to wherever it found some support. And then at that point, we were going to look to increase positions or do whatever we want to do, because we can do whatever we want to do in this space. So with that being said, of course, it's been about a month. We have still not yet started to make that move that I was talking about, in which we started to set some local, more macro highs. And so with that, that is why there has been a lack of content. But of course, I have been updating you all on that on my Twitter and of course in the Patreon. But in today's video, I'm more focused again on why everyone's going to say this is the end of the world, and well, why I don't think it's too big of a deal. Okay, so first and foremost, let's go ahead and let's just get rid of the 20. Let's get rid of the, let's just keep these two up. Okay, so first and foremost, again, we're about to see the 50 EMA crossing through the 200 EMA. Now what this means is that there is inherent bearishness in the market. Okay, what that simply is just going to mean is that your moving averages, your more short-term moving averages moving through a long-term moving average, which hints at more of a more of a possible mid to long-term-ish bearish momentum switch. Okay, now realistically, looking at the 50 and the 200 moving average, these are extremely lagging indicators. Okay, now to put that into perspective, we're gonna go out to Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and just clear off our charts real quick. We're gonna just take a look at Bitcoin to see what happened here. So realistically, by the time that we had got this big bear cross, right, in which we saw the 50 go straight through the 200, sure, it was followed by a little bit of a downtrend. You know, the moment that we saw that happen, we were about here, and you know, we did drop another 10% from that point forward. But it was more of just a confirmation that things are bad. But I don't know about you all, but looking at ADA, I don't really need another confirmation that things are bad. I can just go look at my portfolio. So with that being said, again, this is a lagging indicator. So do I think this is going to send the price down to 20 cents, 10 cents? No, absolutely not. Now, do I think it could trigger a bit of a sell-off? Yes, because the reason being is because there are going to be people who are going to say this is the end of the world. This is death. This means that things are terrible and that ADA is dead forever. And that is going to send a lot of the retail investors packing, which definitely could cause a bit of a pullback here. Now, overall, looking at the charts, I would go ahead and make the claim that if it doesn't, we definitely could be looking at some support establishment relatively soon. Okay, now the reason that I say that is because when we look at something, for example, like the RSI, we're already seeing that the RSI is in a level in which we usually find some support. Every time we've come down to this quote unquote oversold territory, in which I don't really believe in an oversold territory, but in which we can see the price coming down to this 30-ish level on the RSI, it has typically led to some pretty extensive gains from that point forward. Now, does that mean it's going to for sure happen right now? No, it doesn't at all, of course, because realistically, I think the fall that we've seen in ADA has been a bit justified. You know, when we were seeing these prices up here, you know, I think based off of what we were seeing fundamentally, it made sense at the time, but after Solana started to grow and DOT started to grow and Parachains and all these other, you know, all of their competitors started to really pick up steam in terms of adding value, I think it makes sense that we've seen a bit of a correction for ADA until they are able to do the same. Once they continue to add, you know, they do things such as Sunday swap, and as their internal ecosystems grow, I do believe that that will then lead to growth. But realistically, looking at these levels here, it didn't make much sense in hindsight. At the time it did, but now it really didn't make much sense. So overall, I think with the launch of things such as Sunday swap having its public testnet, and as they are continuing to work their way up, I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see the price rebound at some given point over the next couple of weeks here, and we actually see a bit of a push to the upside. Of course, we do have have this ascending level of support right here. And so what that tells me is that if we do see a big sell-off in the market, if this, when this bear cross does happen, we definitely could see the price get pushed down below the support level. And if that was the case, I'd be looking at $1. I would be doing possible mass accumulation at $1 because I don't believe that ADA is valued at $1. I definitely think that, somewhere back above $1.50 makes a lot of sense. And so personally speaking, the way in which I'm playing this right now is I'm just going to continue to follow this trend in which we've set over the last month. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm simply just going to look at this thing from more of a long to mid-term perspective and say, we're either going to find support here or we're going to find support here. Now, if we look at the weekly charts, one thing we can also see is that we have a key level of support approaching as well. Now, what that's going to be is, let's go ahead and let's get this turned back on. That's going to be the 100-week EMA. Now, our 100-week EMA is a level that we've not lost in an extremely long time. And I do believe that even if we break to the downside here, that we would find some support there. And that's also going to be at about $1.07. So at the moment, we have three key support levels, extreme levels of support. Okay. Our long-term trend line, we have our 100-week EMA, and we have $1, which is of course an extremely psychological level. And I think that one of these is going to hold. I would genuinely be surprised if it did not. You guys know when we lost $1.75, I said that there's a good chance we start to push back, or $1.90, that we start to push to 175. If we lose to 175, we're probably going back to 150. And that's exactly what's happened so far. But at this point, I do believe that these levels are going to prove to be so strong. I would genuinely be surprised if we lose them, especially considering this massive VPVR support in which we will see. So overall, the point of today's video is basically just to say that realistically, what we're seeing from ADA isn't really a surprise, okay? This isn't something new. It's not something scary in my opinion. It's just a confirmation that shit is looking bad, okay? And realistically, we kind of knew that already. You know what I mean? Like, we kind of knew that already. So overall, I'm just going to be watching this thing. I'm going to be looking for the break of trend here, as that will be our first sign that support has been established either on this upward sloping level of support or here on our on a $1-ish level. So realistically, at the moment, there's really no need for panic. Look to see how this death cross does affect the market. If we lose this this ascending level of support, don't be surprised to see a continued fall, maybe even back towards $1.10 to $1. But realistically, I do believe we will find support at one of these levels, and then from there use that to push up through our downward sloping trend line, which will allow us to start to see a little bit more of a swing to the upside if the market does allow. Of course, if the rest of the market crashes, then ADA is going to go just with it, but I don't believe that is the case, and so of course we will continue to monitor it. So overall, I hope I did kind of help fight some of the massive death feelings that you're going to have once all these YouTube channels pop up saying this is the end of the world. I hope I did kind of, show you a little bit of the statistical and the fundamental side of the technicals behind these crosses, rather than just saying that it's a death cross and that it's going to die. So hopefully, of course, if you did get value out of this video, you can let me know by just simply smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you are new. But with that being said, I do have a Solana video coming in probably about 2 or 3 hours. So if you're interested in that, definitely do turn on the notifications so you don't miss it. And I'll see you all next time. Peace.